Hello, and welcome back to my FC24 Kit Quest Manager Career Mode with Tottenham Hotspur and Alejo Véliz. Reminder: the Kit Quest Space Run is the third kit from the 2023-2024 season. That's what Alejo Véliz wore when he scored his first goal for the club against Brighton. So here we're going to recap. This is the 2026-2027 season. Yeah, that's the 2026-2027 season. Kind of go through in terms of how we finished in the league and the cups and in Europe and whatnot, and then kind of board goals and transfers and all the good stuff and stats. So we'll kind of start off with the standings. Start off with the league. As you can see here, we went back to back in the league. Super pumped about that. See, there's a much closer title race this season than it was last season. We finished 2 points ahead of Manchester City. So kind of what I did a little bit this season. It was only happened like a couple of times, to be honest, because it was a pretty close title race for most of the season. But what I kind of did this time was, if I was like 6 points or more ahead, like I would just automatically like quick sim the match to kind of like speed things up a little bit, and then like potentially make it more interesting. Because if like I kept getting play on those matches, like the lead was grow and grow and grow, kind of like it did last season. So I try to keep it a little more interesting this season by doing that. And it only happened like maybe like 3 or 4 times like the whole season. Yeah, I think literally 4 times the whole season I like did that. And I think like I won twice, I think, and lost twice. Yeah, the first time I did it, I lost to Liverpool 3-1. Second time, no, we lost 3 times and won once. Second time I did it, was against Burnley and they beat us somehow, but that's like whatever. The third time was against, I think, Brentford here. Yeah, Brentford, we beat them 3-1, and the last time was kind of right towards against Chelsea, and we lost that match. We lost 3 of the 4 matches like that, so it kind of kept things closer. And then the title race actually did go down to the last day of the season, because we're with Manchester City here. They were, I think, 2 points behind us going into the last day of the season. And last match of the season was at home to Manchester City at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The randomizer was kind. It gave us the draw. It gave me the draw kind of option of like the 5 kind of choices that I had for that. And we drew the match 1-1 with a James Maddison's goal, I think, to give us the lead, and then they like equalized at some point in the match. It stayed 1-1 after that. So we won the title by kind of holding them off, which is a pretty good, solid job with that. So we won the back-to-back titles, which I'm pretty happy with. So we got 2 trophies in this Kit Quest, which is pretty nice. I think the Community Shield we can go through again. You got creamed in that 4-1 to City, is what it is. So we'll be in that next year also against City, because they were. Actually, no, is it against City? I don't know. It might be. Hold on. As we get through the results, we'll kind of figure that out. But we'll go to the Carabao Cup first. As you can see here, we lost in the final 2-3 to our hated rivals Arsenal. Kind of how we got there. Started off in round 3 against Forest. Let me scroll up on my spreadsheet here. Round 3 against Forest. We played that match. Dominic Solanke hat-trick with the Ocampos goal to kind of finish it off. Very nice result there. Round 4, we got Crystal Palace. That went to penalties. I'm pretty sure I played. There you go. Let's just move some stuff around. We played that match. Yeah, we played that. I played that match. It was Ocampos with the goal, and we ended up going to a penalty shootout, which won 5-4. Pretty eerie stuff there. Playing the penalty shootout. It's like intense. I kind of like it, but I also don't like it because it's like very like easy to lose, which is very evident in the quarterfinals. Where we got matched up against Aston Villa once again. That was a played match. Once again, finished 1-1 after 90 minutes. Went straight to pens. And that one we were behind. Like I think like if like I had missed a penalty, we would have lost the shootout. But I made the penalty, then made a save to kind of keep things going, and kind of won like the extra 5th-1, which is pretty crazy and exciting. But it's pretty hype. In the semifinals, we got matched up against Man City. The first leg was away, which was a simulated match. We lost that 1-2, and the second leg was a play. which I won 3-0, which got us into the finals against Arsenal. Really hoped would have rather have been Hull, but they couldn't get it done. And in the final, we lost 2-3, which God. So we went down like 2-0 or 2-1. I think it might have been 2-0. We came back to 2-1. Arsenal got like a red card with like 10 minutes to go. We equalized. I was like, all right, this is gonna go to extra time or whatever. That's fine. But like the last like kind of, it was a corner or it was another free kick or something. Like we don't convert on it. Arsenal goes up the other end, and Odegaard, who already was on a yellow card, like probably could have gotten a second yellow potentially, like goes up the pitch. Like our defense is shambolic, and they score, and like we went the last kick of the match. But what you're gonna do, I guess, right? So we're kind of 1 for 3 potential trophies. But if we go to the FA Cup, boom, as you see here, we won 3-1 against City in the final of the FA Cup. So let's kind of get into how we got there as well. Round 3, we got matched up against, where are we? Last page here, we got matched up against Lincoln City, who I guess changed their badge because the one on the Wikipedia page is not the same as that one. But first we played them, it was a sim. You see here, we drew 2-2 with goals from Luca Bacchio and Solanke. And then the replay, we got play. Did we get play for that, or is that a replay here? Yeah, we got the draw. So I guess like the slow sim, we absolutely smashed them 4-0 with 2 Gio Lo Celso goals. Round 4, we got matched up against Leeds United. That was a play, and we won that with a Solanke brace. Pretty solid there. And then we kind of get into round 5, which is the round of 16. We got matched up against Liverpool. Tough matchup. Simulated that match with kind of full strength lineup. So I was really trying to win like the cups this year in Europe and stuff. That was my major focus instead of the Prem. And we won that 1-0 with a Alejo Véliz goal. Round 6, which is the quarterfinals, we got matched up against West Ham. That was a play. We rolled a play for that one and won the match 2-1 with goals from Dom Solanke and Luca Bacchio. And then semifinals, we kind of got the easier matchup. We got Millwall. We won that 2-1. That was a play match. Millwall actually went up 1-0 relatively early on from some poor defensive play on my part, but managed to recover and with goals from Solanke and Lo Celso to win the match 2-1. Then in the final, so we beat Man City 3-1. So we finally got revenge on Man City for all their kind of our defeats in the Community Shield and other stuff past this season. That was a simulated match, and we won that 3-1 with 2 goals from James Madison and a goal from Destiny Udogie. So that was pretty solid stuff. So we completed a double. Then next, kind of go through the European stuff. We'll go through the Super Cup, which I have no idea who's even in that. It was Real Madrid and United. Madrid won 2-0, which doesn't surprise me considering how stacked their team is. Conference League, Wolfsburg, that's nice. Beat Atletico 2-1, good for them. Europa League, Man City is in the Europa League. They probably got bumped down from the Champions League, I'm guessing, and beat RC Lens, a French club, 3-1. And the Champions League, it was a repeat of the 2019 heartbreak, but not as controversial. We got matched up against Liverpool in the final, but let's kind of see how we got to that point. Group stage, we had a pretty tough group this season with Juve, Sporting, and BSD Young Boys, just like a Swiss club from my Googling when I was trying to like get their logo and stuff for my spreadsheet. Group stage was honestly pretty tough. See here we went 3-2-1, so we were kind of very close to missing out, to be honest. We beat Sporting at home match day 1, lost to Juve match day 2, 2-3. Drew against BSC Young Boys twice in a row, 1-1 and then 0-0. Big kind of turning point was we beat Juve 1-0, and the home fixture was just was a slow sim draw match with a goal from Belize. And then even then it was kind of iffy because if we got matched up against Sporting on the last match day of the group, and if we had lost that match, I think because if we lost that match, we would have gone down 3 points to 8, and they would have gone up from 7 to 10, so we would have missed out potentially. Probably would have hopefully would have gotten bumped down to Europa League, but who knows? But it's not relevant. We beat them 3-1 because we got a draw for that slow sim. So that's a brace from Dom Solanke and a Marcel Sabitzer goal. round of 16, we got matched up against PSG, kind of one of the heavier weight clubs in the round of 16, because we finished second. We both of those were sim, I think. Sim. There was the second one. It was also a sim. First leg was 1-1 with a Sabitzer goal. Keep things equal heading into the away leg, which we won 2-1 with goals from Alejo Véliz and Marcus Edwards to advance on. Quarterfinals against Barcelona. Another pretty tough draw. First leg was away. That was simulated. Edwards and Véliz again kind of coming in clutch. And getting us a 2-2 draw away from home. And then second leg at home was like a slow simulated match, which we won 2-1 with goals from Mickey Van de Ven off a corner, and then Alejo Véliz with a Mickey Van de Ven assist. So he did pretty solid in that leg. Semifinals, we got matched up against. Hold on, excuse me. Oh, I was gonna sneeze there. Sorry. Semifinals got matched up against Marseille. Both those were legs were play because the only two times we played Marseille was 2 seasons ago under Conte in the Champions League, and we beat them both games. So the first leg I played, I don't even say I even played that poorly to be honest. Their goalie was just like made some pretty incredible saves, and then they like exploited the defensive AI being buns. I was defending the guy with the ball around the touchline area, trying to stop them from crossing. He got the cross around me, and then the my AI teammate defender in the box like was on the wrong side of his man, and then they had like an easy tap in header. But the second leg kind of came back really focused and intense. I managed to get a 4-0 win with an Alejo Véliz hat trick and a goal from the fifth Beatle, Ryan Heel, because his haircut makes him look like one of the Beatles from, which is I find very amusing because it's like a mad unpopular haircut these days, but he rocks it, so more power to him. But yes, but the final we got matched up against Liverpool, rematch of the 2019 Champions League finals. That was a simulated match, so I kind of did the slow sim, but wasn't going to interfere at all. I was just slow simming to get the footage if we won, but we didn't. We got pretty thoroughly smashed by Liverpool 3-0 because they had a pretty strong side out there. But it wasn't like we like the chance. There was like an equal number of chances pretty much for both teams, but theirs were just better and they were clinical, and we weren't. They beat us 3-0. So it was disappointing we didn't get the treble, but I'll take a double any day of the week. So we now have 3 total trophies, 2 Prem titles, and an FA Cup. But that's so kind of moving on from last season, kind of increasing our trophy count, which is good. I'll consider this season a pretty decent success. In terms of objectives, like the board objectives, we did pretty good, so we're in a pretty decent spot. Youth development was to sign 3 youth academy defenders. So I basically just used the scouting like the youth scouting system, sign 3 defenders, and then the bottom thing was the same thing I do pretty much every other season. Every season, the thing is an objective. Is we got some youth academy players who were disgruntled. They wanted to be called up to the senior team, so I called them up, which counts for kind of that objective. Brand exposure was good. It was just like the sign for the best players in the world, which we aren't going to complete, but we'll go through our transfer business, in a second. Financial was that we make 6.8 mil profit, which I don't understand how this stuff works, man. Because like I was selling players in the window because I was just like wanting to get rid of some of the youth players I had that I was never going to use, and I was like, oh, I'll get rid of them if it works. It works. It doesn't. It doesn't. And it worked for some reason, and we were able to make the last little bit to get that 6.8 million profit. So I don't really understand how this stuff works. The code's probably like spaghetti. But domestic, you smashed it out. The goal was to win the title and win the cup, and we managed to do the double. So the board, Daniel Levy must be dancing a jig in the cheese room at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium from this. Lastly was continental success, which was to reach the final of the Champions League, which we managed to do. So we pretty much completed every objective except this like one. So I don't understand like how we're not like pretty much maxed out on the bar for board things, but we are just reasonable. But it's not like I'm gonna get fired or anything like that, so we're good in that sense. In terms of the squad, we'll kind of go through 18 moves I made in terms of signings and transfers and loans and all that. The first 2 was to pull up everyone's stats. You can look at those while I'm kind of going through this stuff. First thing was to re-sign Jed Spence, who Mr. Clutch Jed Spence, coming up the big equalizer in the Carabao Cup third round match against Coventry City, kind of proving why he belongs in the squad and why it was an absolutely disastrous decision by Ange to include Fraser Foster in the Europa League squad and not Jed Spence, which that's absolutely baffling. But Ange is a successful coach. I'm just here playing a video game, but I think it was a disastrous move for him to do that. But Jed Spence, we re-signed him to another 2-year extension, bumping his wages up about £10,000 to £45,000 a week. The other one was Ali Skip, giving him a 4-year extension, bumping his wages up pretty significantly to £65,000 a week. We then made a pretty big transfer move and moved Pedro Porro for £101 million plus a 5% sell-on fee to Barcelona, which the game gave me a C because they're like, oh, you can get up to like 100 and something else million, but like the 5% sell-on fee, if Barcelona ever do sell him and like they sold him for is like what the game says his value is like here, like this value, the market value. I would have like gotten like the amount to make it up to that amount, but I guess the game doesn't see it that way, so they gave me a C for that transfer. Now I'll kind of skip down a little bit in terms of our income because I like do some scouting, so a bunch of other business kind of happened in between me selling the players and me bringing in the replacements. But I brought in this guy here, Juan Lu Sanchez, which I don't think that's actually his name. I think his name is like Juan and then like Luis or Louise, like two separate words, but the game smashes them together here. From Sevilla for 13 million pounds plus a 5% sell-on fee from Olympique Marseille, but he like is a Sevilla player in real life. They must have just transferred him out in game. He had a pretty decent season here. Made the team of the season actually in the Prem, which is pretty surprising for he started like such a player who started out like what 77 overall, and he contributed pretty decently with 2 goals, 5 assists. I got an A for that transfer, which is pretty decent. Next move was because like I just wanted to kind of give the players their like real life jersey number, kit number, as often as possible. Brendan Johnson, number 22, and Loic Bade here. You can see here as shorts. His number at Sevilla is 22, so I was like, I might as well transfer Brendan Johnson out to do that to kind of also like spices things up to like because otherwise I'd just keep Brendan Johnson. He'd be kept pretty most of the time in these things, so I might as well spice it up a little. Transferred him for £30.4 million to Leeds United. Gabe gave me a B for that. His direct replacement was where is he? Here we go. Doi Lukavakio. Brought him in for £19.7 million from Sevilla, signed him to a 3-year contract with £75,000 a week wages. Oh, I forgot to mention Sanchez's contract was 3 years, £45,000. And he gave me a B for that. He had a pretty decent season, 2 goals, 6 assists, kind of as a sub-right winger, not bad. Next up was kind of selling some youth Alfie Devine for £8.5 million to Hellas Verona in Italy. He gave me an A for that. One of the other big ones was selling Vicario for £129 million to Juventus. Gave me an A for that. And then because like between like Sevilla, Espanyol, Rosario Central, and then like Austrian players, there wasn't like actually a keeper who was like good enough overall to be like a starting keeper for like a top Premier League club. I was like, I'll bring in a homegrown player because that's like kind of fits with the transfer strategy. So I brought in James Trafford for £18 million from Valladolid, a Spanish club, but he's like actually at Burnley. Real life signed to a 5-year contract with £33,000 a week wages. And gave him an A for that. And he bumped up in overall a lot. Had a pretty solid season, having the most clean sheets in the Prem with 16, which is pretty good. After that, let's go back down this way. Iago Santiago, 1-year loan to Oriedo. Brendan Austin, 1-year loan to Aruca. Jamie Donnelly moved on for £3.7 million to Vitoria. Alfie Dorrington went on loan for a year to Burnley. In the Championship, Matthew Craig went on loan to Cadiz. Tyrese Hall, 2-year loan to Hull. And then Dade Scarlett, we moved for £4.6 million or so to Inter Miami in MLS. King gave me an A for that. And then our kind of last big transfer was Dejan Kulusevski. We moved him out for £109 million to Bayern Munich. So they had a lot of ex-Tottenham players in this one. Kick Quest, they gave me a B for that. And to replace him, kind of similar situation once again. There weren't really between Austria and then the clubs Véliz has played for besides Tottenham. No one really like of the required ability to kind of fit in as a starter in a top 6 Premier League club, top 4 Premier League club. So then we brought in someone who Spurs were linked with a decent amount this past summer's transfer window because of our current squad issue with club trained players for the European list and all that stuff. Marcus Edwards, because he was a Tottenham Academy graduate who we moved on to Sporting Portugal. But as he has a club trained, that's how he kind of fits in the parts of this, how I kind of do these things. So I was able to bring him back in because he has a decent kind of potential in the game. See here, he's an 84 overall. I brought him in for £38.7 million from Sporting, signed up to a 5-year, £85,000 a week contract. The game gave him an A for that. He had a pretty decent season, 8 goals, 13 assists, which is pretty solid. 9 assists in the Prem. Not sure if that's enough for the top assist getter. But here, Alejo Véliz, as you can kind of see here, last thing we'll kind of do is hit up his kind of stats here. So he grew to an A7 overall, so he's really kind of doing really well. See your 54 matches across all competitions, 46 goals, 9 assists, which is pretty bananas, I'd say. That's incredibly good numbers. And you can see here in the Prem, he had 30 goals, 31 goals. That's where all assists were also in the Prem, but those 31 goals is enough for the Golden Boot, and that's pretty massive stuff from him. But I mean, just check his I can't do math. Wait, hold on. Let me just check my spreadsheet here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so no, next season is not what I thought it was. Okay, so never mind. So I was gonna make a proclamation that is not true. So I'm gonna take back that proclamation and kind of just state that that's kind of it for this video. So it's kind of a weird pivot, but I thought that he only had 1 year left in his contract after this, but he doesn't. He has 2. So next season is kind of just going to be in business as usual. Here's the moving out players, bringing in players, and all that stuff. When they're kind of now that we've gotten the FA Cup and the Premier League for the second time, the FA Cup for the first time. My big focus is going to be on the Carabao Cup. Hopefully, kind of redeem ourselves from the loss in the final, and the Champions League. Same kind of deal. Redeem ourselves from the loss in the final. Try to get some more trophies, but that's kind of it. Nothing else really to recap in terms of the season. It was a very successful season, but hopefully next season is even more successful. Even if it's less trophies, if you get one of the Carabao Cup or Community Shield or the Champions League, I'll consider that a pretty good success. But yeah, thank you to anyone who watched this video, and I hope you watch the next video as well. Thank you.
Final whistle. I'll tell you what, for weeks the fans have been singing we're going to win the league, and that's exactly what they've done.
Well, just look at the players' reaction, a mixture of relief, joy, a bit of exhaustion there as well. What a great achievement for this club.
It is the ultimate measure of achievement for any club. Confirmation of quality over the course of an entire football season, and well, they might celebrate with gusto. And now for the moment of confirmation, the trophy presentation.
Well, this is what they were dreaming of before the game. They come and pick this trophy up. What a performance from them.
Yes, a performance that has impressed absolutely everyone. And now it comes down to holding that piece of silverware aloft. The sweet taste of success. It has been quite the journey, and it comes to an end in style. on the big stage.
And now the celebrations can begin. Not just the players, but also the fans, the coaching staff, everybody involved with this club. What a performance it's been.
And it is always a collaboration between players and fans. And how special is this, to be able to celebrate right in front of your own supporters?
Well, these are lovely pictures, aren't they? Celebrating with the fans. They've certainly played their part. They've made so much noise over the season. Really lovely scenes here.
And they're going to be continuing for a while, I think. And now they get ready for the photographs that will be appearing in the newspapers, on the internet and on social media in the hours ahead.
And they will cherish these photos for years to come.
Goes the final whistle. The cup issue is settled. A story of one side celebrating and the other distraught. Memories are being made.
Well, just look at those scenes down there, Derek. What a contrast in emotions. Brilliant for the winners, despair for the losers. But overall, the right team won today.
Yeah, you can see what it means to this tight-knit team. Real solidarity. And now they prepare to walk together in anticipation of the trophy presentation.
Well, it's now just beginning to sink in. They are the winners of this great cup.
Any second now, they'll be able to hold it aloft. All congratulating each other, and rightly so. The sweet taste of success. And they don't want to let go of that trophy, do they?
Absolutely not. They've worked so hard to win this trophy. They've been brilliant throughout the tournament. Been a top-class performance from them and their fans.
Full marks to the entire team, and now they get the chance to exhale and enjoy.
They've been brilliant in this competition, and so have the fans. They've really got behind their team. They've played a big part in this win. Just look at those faces in the crowd. Great stuff.
Really a match made in heaven between players and fans. And these celebrations are going to continue for quite some time. And now the players get to relax a bit and enjoy having the pictures taken.
Well, these photos will be cherished for years to come, won't they? Certainly ones to show the grandchildren.